Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Memoria Freese video. And today, we're going to be taking a look at the latest 6th anniversary gacha banners featuring a new Haruhime and a new Liliruca. And we're going to be doing a should you summon. So, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, remember to leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Memoria Freese content. And let me know in the comment section down below, did you guys end up summoning on this banner, and if so, what did you guys end up getting? And if you haven't summoned on the banner, why not? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to read your guys' comments. Now, before I get into the video and the should you summon portion of this video, couple of things to note. I've already done my summons for this banner. As you can see, there is no 4-star guaranteed step left in this banner. So if you want to check them out, I will be leaving a link to it in the description down below or in the top right. Most likely in the top right. I'll try and get it in for the very first time. I feel like whenever I say it's in the top right, it's never in the top right, but I'm gonna make sure it's in the top right this time round. But the other thing to note is that I still haven't used these characters. Even though I've gotten them and everything, I've prism bonded them up and everything, I still haven't used them yet because I want to use them for the very first time in their own showcases, which I will be uploading in the next couple of days. Haruhime should be tomorrow, and then on Saturday I'll have Liliruca go up. So of course, if you want to watch those videos and you want to get notified, hit that subscribe button, but on top of that, hit that bell notification button as well so that you get notified as to when those videos drop as well. But yes, I will be doing showcases for both of these units in the next couple of days. Don't worry about that. I will be giving you guys a better verdict over the next couple of days. And then of course on Sunday, most likely we will have an updated tier list. I'm also going to check out what the JP players think about these two new units as well. Now, to start off the should you summon, let's talk about these two new units first and foremost. So the first thing to note about these two new units is that they are both non-time limited. That means they will be added into the regular gacha pool when we do get a new banner featuring the general pool. And then also on top of that, when the ticket gacha gets updated, which should be in September now, these two new units will get added into that banner as well. Furthermore, if you have prism bonds, you will be able to use those prism bonds on these characters, making it a lot easier to MLB these characters compared to time limited units and Hero Festa units. So that's something to bear in mind when it comes to these two units. Now, to start off the should you summon, I'm going to start talking about Liliruca first and foremost, because I do believe it's way easier to talk about the assist compared to the adventure, because it's literally just one line of text and we have to look at the stats and that's about it, right? Whereas with the adventure, we have to look at the special arts, we have to look at all 3 skills, the passives and everything. And it gets very, very complicated and it gets very, very long. So we're going to start off with Liliruca first and foremost. And let's start off by looking at her stats, right? So if you want to look at her stats, there you go. I'm going to move my head out of the way. You can see that her agility stat is the highest. And this is really, really nice because if you look at her assist skill, it is very, very important because she is going to be extremely vital in the agility battle, because her assist skill at MLB, Reverberating Blessing, gives foes endurance, agility, and dexterity minus 20%. Thumbs up there. She is the 3rd unit to give minus 20% agility and the first non-time limited unit to give minus 20% agility. And also on top of that, she also gives self +4 instant effects of when attacked, 40% HP heal, and null ailment ×1 on allies once per turn. Now, the additional effect, right, the instant effect, is something I still need to test out for myself. In all honesty, I don't know how exactly it's going to perform in actuality, and that's the reason why, unlike Loki, I am actually probably going to do a showcase for this Liliruca on Saturday because I want to test her out. I'm probably going to take her into Telskira Abyss because TA is filled with ailment teams, right? Unlike the latter in War Games, and of course with War Games being off right now, I think it's a little better if I go and try it in Telskira Abyss to see how exactly that null ailment ×1 will perform. Because remember, the instant effects are on hit, right? They are on hit. So you have to kind of work around the fact that some of the ailment units don't really use an attack to, inflict ailment. So does this kind of get invalidated? We'll have to test it out. But nonetheless, ignoring the instant effects, if you just look at the debuffs alone, the endurance, agility, and dexterity down, unbelievable. If you're running magic, in all honesty, magic rush, right, that endurance down along with the agility down is going to be phenomenal for your team. Honestly, it's really, really good. I genuinely think Liliruca might be the second best agility down unit. At this point in time, I would probably put Alan, Liliruca, and then Ryulu right now. At least in my personal opinion, that's how I would do it. Of course, I still need to do some testing. I still need to figure out how everything goes with these units. Unfortunately, I don't have Alan, so I'm gonna have to talk to other players who do have Alan and have summoned for Liliruca and are, you know, trying to test it out and see which one is better of the two, basically. So I'm gonna rely on other people for that, but I'm gonna give you guys my verdict on Liliruca versus Ryulu at the very least, because I do have Ryulu at +5. But I do think she is going to be really, really solid, and at the end of the day, this is a non-time limited assist, so she is going to be way easier to MLB compared to if you have, say for example, Ryulu at +3 or Alan at +3, right? I think it's going to be way easier for you to MLB this Liliruca in comparison to those two assists. So that's also something to bear in mind. If you don't have any of those assists at MLB, Liliruca is an amazing option to go for. Automatically, she is one of the best assists. Honestly, she goes into the top tier of my tier list already, to be quite honest. It's just a question of how does she compare to the other -20% agility based assists, basically, right? I think that's what's most important. In fact, one thing I want to check, right, is we saw that Liliruca's agility is 652, right? It's 652 at MLB. I want to check what Alan's is at. I'm very curious to see what Alan's is agility stat is, of course, right? That is going to be very curious to see. So it is this Alan, right? Yeah, it's this Alan. Okay, let's MLB him. 649. Oh, so Liliruca is faster than Alan by 3 agility points. It's only 3 agility points, but it is still significant in the grand scheme of things, right? Especially when you do percentage-based agility boosts and stuff, right? It does make a big difference in that sort of situation, that 3 agility difference. Okay. All right, okay, very interesting. And to just confirm, by the way, that CP isn't influencing anything or anything of that sort. In the album, you can't see the CP, unfortunately. For some reason, they don't apply your CP levels to the album. But just to double check and show you again, even in the album, for me, it's 652 agility for Liliruca. So Lily and Alan are separated by 3 agility. Very interesting. That's not something I was expecting. I didn't remember Alan's agility because unfortunately I don't have him at MLB. So I never really looked into his agility stat entirely. I just knew he was really, really fast. But it seems like Liliruca is faster. So that's really, really good. Now, we move over to Haruhime. I think Liliruca is very straightforward. A fantastic option to go for, to be quite honest. A very, very good unit. Now we move on to Festive Fox Sanjuno Haruhime, a dark balance type unit. Those are her stats. Really nice all-rounded stats. Of course, for being a balanced unit, I think that those stats are really, really solid, to be quite honest. Really nice agility, good magic stat, decent strength, of course, endurance on the lower side, but still pretty solid, good dexterity. I think overall that's a very, very good set of stats, right? Now, if you take a look at her special arts, right? Shukuka Churan. AoE Ultra Dark Magic Attack with Temporary Great Magic Boost and Ultra Penetration Rate and Dark Res -60% and Self Magic 100% for 3 turns. Now, breaking that down, we'll go step by step. So Ultra Dark Magic Attack, straightforward. This is something that we see in a lot of units recently. I feel like we've not seen that many damage-based adventurers. It feels like, I don't know why they're not doing it anymore. I feel like if you look at even the eyes from part 1, if you look at Riveria's additional attacks have the damage bonus, but her SA is Temporary Great Magic Boost. So many of these units have this now, and it feels like, why are you being so lackadaisical and not giving us, like, you know, damage per magic res debuff or something, right? I think that would have been good, but oh well, that's me being very picky about it. Ultra penetration rate is always very nice, and then dark res -60%, very, very solid. She also gives herself magic 100% for 3 turns, which is solid, nothing to write home about. It's pretty good. 4 additional actions of high dark magic attack with ultra penetration rate and MRes -60% on foes, and fire, water, thunder, earth, wind, light, and dark attack damage plus 80% for 3 turns and 60% HP heal on allies. Now, a lot of people were saying, oh, does this make this Haruhime better than the light Haruhime? And to that I respond, no. Unfortunately, it does not. Now, the reason why a lot of people were saying that is because one, minus 60% MRes, which is really nice, no doubt about it. But on top of that, the ability to give all that elemental damage boost, right, by 80% for 3 turns. On paper, that seems very, very nice, right? It seems very, very nice and very, very solid, right? But then if you were to look at some of the other units, right, and I'm going to show you guys some modern units right now, right? I'm going to show you guys some modern units. So first and foremost, I'm going to show you guys Bet, for example, the first part, 6th anniversary Bet, right? And if you take a look at him, on his essay, he gives allies 100% fire attack damage. Furthermore, he also gives himself, if you look over here, somewhere around here, it should be here. Okay, he doesn't give himself fire attack damage. Oh no, wait, he does. He gives himself 60% fire attack damage. I was just lost there. 60% fire attack damage. So it's about 20% difference between Haruhime's essay versus this. Not significant enough, right? And then of course, if you take a look at Eyes, say for example, the part 1 Eyes, right? If you take a look at part 1 Eyes, she gives herself 70% dark attack damage here. 70%, right? To herself, right? Then if you look at this Eyes as well, right? If you look at this Eyes as well, she gives herself, if we go over here, right? 60% dark attack damage. So that's only about 20%, right? Now, this Eyes again, I'm going to bring up this Eyes again. Magic plus 60%. And then if you look at this Eyes as well, it is 70% magic to self. And we saw Bet gave himself 80% STR, right? If you guys paid close attention to that. Now, if we take a look at Light Haruhime, right? Light Haruhime, on her essay, if you go find her, there she is. Light Haruhime on her essay gives 120% STR in magic. That is a huge difference. That is a much bigger difference. That is a 40 to 60% difference versus a 20 to 30% difference, and in some cases only a 10% difference between the elemental damage. And another thing to note as well, Elgato, please come back to life. Another thing to note about this Haruhime as well, in terms of her special arts, that's not the right banner, this is the right banner. Another thing to note about this Haruhime is that a lot of people have this perception that these buffs will stack. They don't stack. They don't stack. Haruhime's buffs will not stack with another adventure's elemental damage boost. So that doesn't work either. So Haruhime is like, say for example, this dark attack damage 80% that you get isn't going to stack with say for example Eyes' 70% dark attack damage. It's not going to make it 150% dark attack damage. Similarly, if you have, say for example, the MRes minus 60%, it's not going to stack with another MRes from an adventure. It's not going to be like minus 60% plus minus 50%, you get minus 110%. That's not how it works. Or minus 60, minus 50, minus 110%. That's not how it works. What happens is when it comes to adventures, right, whatever is the higher buff, it overrides the lower buff basically. So that's all that happens. In that sort of scenario, you would rather have Light Haruhime giving that 120% more so. I do think Haruhime, of course, this Dark Haruhime is a better offensive option based on her number of attacks and all the additional actions going on and everything. But I would say that Light Haruhime is a better supporting unit, and she's still far superior in my personal opinion. So I would say that while this is nice and all, on paper it seems nice, but when you actually look at all the other units and everything, it's not as enticing in all honesty. Furthermore, it's locked behind her special arts, because if you look at her first combat skill, which we'll take a look at right now, Kenon Raisen, allies fast, STR magic dexterity, P-res and M-res plus 40% and 40% HP regen for 5 turns. We'll come back to that later on. I'm gonna go down to the additional actions first and foremost, and we'll go through the entire skill first. Self-heal plus 60% for 1 turn, and 3 additional actions of high dark magic attack with ultra penetration rate and M-res minus 40% on foes, fire, water, thunder, earth, wind, light, and dark attack damage plus 50% for 3 turns, and 40% HP heal on allies. The heal and all is very nice. The M-res minus 40% on the additional action is very nice, but you're only giving 50% damage boost to your allies. It's not significant enough. I'm sorry, this was one of my complaints with Riveria as well. For example, she was only giving like 40% water attack damage to allies. It's not significant enough because all these other units are giving like 70% or higher basically. At the very least, they're giving 60%. That does not cut it. 50% is not good enough. And a lot of people were saying, well, now you can potentially run multiple elements on the same team. not really the case, unfortunately, because what happens is, right, if you're running multiple elements, you're going to need multiple element resist down assists and multiple elemental damage up assists as well. You can't run that. It's not feasible. It's not cohesive, and you're missing out on potentially even more power by not bringing in the right unit. So in all honesty, Haruhime doesn't really enable much. I feel like on paper and, you know, in terms of how much is written, it looks really nice, but the additional actions, it's not really that significant in my personal opinion, outside of the MRes minus 40% and the HP heal. On the other hand, looking at our first half of the skill, that's where it gets tasty. Fast STR, magic, dexterity, P-res, and MRes plus 40% and 40% HP regen for 5 turns and self-heal plus 60% for 1 turn. Now, the reason why I'm looking at this and I'm smiling and I'm like, oh boy, this looks really, really good, is because this is exactly something that Eyes needed. If you guys remember my final verdict or my current verdict video that I made on Eyes and Bet a couple of days ago, I said that Eyes can be run on a stall team featuring Althea, Luvia Ryu, and I think it was Artie, right? Now, out of that, Althea, the main reason why we were using Althea is for the agility bonus, but also on top of that for the P-res and M-res boost as well. This Haruhime does that, but on top of that, she also gives HP regen, which is of course one of the key things that you need for Eyes' additional attacks to do extra damage. So you're already getting this off, which is really, really nice. Obviously, Eyes gives it herself as well, so it's not really something that you kind of are going to use because Eyes will go off on turn 2 anyways. But what she does is she actually benefits Eyes in the longer term for the stall team. So honestly, Haruhime is very much on Eyes' team, in my personal opinion. They work extremely well together. You've got Eyes and Haruhime just working together cohesively. Again, we'll have to do some testing to see if it actually works in reality, or is Althea still the better option for that stall team. Of course, I'm going to leave that to the JP players and my other, you know, familiar members who actually have all the units in the world to try and do that. Unfortunately, I don't have the stall team, so I'm going to have to try and make up a sort of like rough stall team in my showcase. But I'm still going to try it out and see for myself and see how it goes. But I do think this Haruhime definitely is meant to be designed to help Eyes out in some way, shape, or form. So for me, I think that's really, really interesting, of course, right? And then on her second skill, Senritsu Maika, or Malka, no, it's Maika. Senritsu Maika, it's an AoE slow super dark magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra encounter rate and status buff and ally status debuff minus 2 turns. So that way you're basically reducing the opponent's status buff and also reducing the status debuffs on yourself, which again helps you survive those attacks and stuff, right? And then furthermore, you get a 10% MP heal as well. So what will probably happen is that you'll go from Kenon Raisen to Senritsu Maika and then back to Kenon Raisen. I don't know if you can probably set Haruhime to continuously do her first skill, at least for the first couple of turns, but that's something for us to test out and see when we chuck her into war games, of course, right? I'm gonna try it out for sure. Her third skill is Shugen Ranbu. It's a single target slow super dark magic attack, damage plus 60% per each target's MRes reduction skill, and ultra penetration rate and allies ailment cure. Frankly speaking, it's not great. I don't really like that third skill. I'm not a big fan of it. I would probably say this is something that you can just ignore entirely. I'm not a big fan of this at all. I don't like this at all, to be quite honest. It's so, first and foremost, slow and on a magic attack in a single target stage isn't great. Second of all, it's only 60% per target's MRes reduction skill, which means 120% damage. Really, in the grand old year of 2023 in an anniversary unit, 120% damage? Really? No. I think that should have been at least 90% or 80%. At the very minimum, I would have taken 80%, but 60% is way too low in my personal opinion. These are her skill and development abilities: light res plus 45% when countering and attacking, regular M attack of foe with dark element, magic agility dexterity plus 40%, damage plus 35% upon penetration, and P-res and M-res plus 25% with spirit killer, which is very, very nice. Of course, gonna be handy during next week's familiar rush as well, right? So overall, I like both units. I like Haruhime a little less than I do like Liliruca. I think Liliruca is easily, undoubtedly a must-have for a lot of players in my personal opinion, if not all players. Haruhime, on the other hand, is definitely tuned towards being a support for Eyes. But the problem is, I don't know how much of a support she will be for eyes just yet, right? I do think that she is set up and geared to be that, right? The stall supportability, the HP regen, the MRes down, the supportability through, I guess, the, elemental damages, I suppose, and all that jazz, along with the HP heal, will help her out, right? But I don't know, man. I'm not feeling too confident in her, to be quite honest. It's still early days though, so we'll have to wait and see. Of course, when War Games comes back next week, it's gonna be very interesting to see where they position her. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna spoil myself. I was gonna save it for when I did the tier list video, but I'm gonna spoil myself right now. I wanna see where the JP players have placed eyes, and I'm gonna pull it up right now. I am going to pull it up right now. You guys are going to see it for yourselves where the JP players have placed Haruhime and Liliruca, because I'm very curious. I am actually very curious to see myself where they've placed it. So they have updated it. It's the 29th of June, so it is updated to have the latest units, and I'm very curious to see where they're placing it. So this is, this is just generally all of it. There we go, character evaluation article. There we go. Let's take a look at the 6th anniversary units and see where they've placed this Haruhime and Liliruca. So this is their text basically. I want to see it in terms of triple S, double S, and all that jazz. I don't want to see it like this. All character evaluation. It should be here. I will go into more detail on what the JP players are saying on Sunday's video when I do tier list them. But I want to see what they've placed them as. So Liliruca is double S, which is like literally the second tier basically in PvP. PvP being B makes sense for Liliruca. And for Haruhime, it's double S, not triple S, and S in PvP. So yeah, I think it makes sense for them to place it there. Of course, I would place Liliruca in triple S, to be quite honest, but that's just me. I'm placing more value into all of these units, and especially the assists, right? I think in their triple S, it's only like 4 or 5 units for it when it comes to assists. So honestly, the JP tier list is a little bit weird like that, to be quite honest. But yeah, I guess it makes sense in that regards. Now, obviously, another thing to note is the banner format, right? When it comes to the 6th anniversary gacha, is how different it is compared to the other 6th anniversary gacha banners, right? So first and foremost, as I mentioned at the start, these are non-time limited units compared to the time limited part 1 units, of course, but also on top of that, they are not double rates. Obviously, the part 1 banners, both banners were double rates, but if you take a look at this banner over here, right, it's not double rate. So that's something to bear in mind. You probably won't get the same amount of 4 stars that you might have seen in the part 1 banners, but I've been seeing a lot of people getting very, very lucky, including myself, with this banner. So in all honesty, I generally think it's like hidden double rates or something, I swear down. But I've seen a lot of people get lucky with this banner in the fact that they're getting like +5, +6 of one unit, and then +2 or +3 of the other unit, which is still really good in the grand scheme of things, right? Of course, you would have loved to have +5 and +5, but I mean, the fact that you're still getting like 10 or 11 featured units out of these two is really, really solid, right? So that's something to bear in mind when it comes to this banner as well, is that it is not double rates. So in all honesty, I wouldn't recommend over pulling on this banner, to be quite honest, if you are planning on pulling. And the other thing to note is that I would probably say, when it comes to whether or not you should summon, I think it's good to wait. Honestly, I would say waiting is the best position for a lot of players, to be quite honest. I think most players should wait, to be quite honest, because this banner is up until the 26th of July, which means it's up until a week after the part 2 banners come out. So see what you get in the part 2 banners, see what the part 2 banners are like in the first place, and then summon. I don't think it's necessary for players to summon immediately, to be quite honest, because, well, like I said, the banners are going to be live for a long time. I thought the banners would have been live just before the part 2 banners come out. I thought that would have been live until like the 18th or 19th, which would have made things tricky, right? But the part 2 banners will come out. We'll be able to test those units out and everything, and then we can determine whether or not, you know, units like Haruhime will help out the part 2 units, right? Obviously, I think Liliruca is amazing. I don't doubt that at all, right? I think if anything, if you get even a base copy of Liliruca, try and see if you can MLB her through Prism Bonds if possible. If you can, fantastic. Haruhime is the big question mark, because we need to test her out. We need to see her capabilities. We need to see where she'll rock up and where she'll perform the best at, and then see what we can do with her, to be quite honest. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. For now, I think my verdict for this banner is wait and watch. In all honesty, I would say wait and watch is the best thing to do with this banner. While it does feature a really good assist in the form of Liliruca, Haruhime is a bit of a question mark at this point still. You know, she does seem pretty strong. She does seem that she will be able to help out units like Eyes and stuff. But right now, it's still early days and we still haven't been able to test her out in war games because it's not war game season. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.